Never drank alcohol. I've never smoked pot.
Any part of you wants to?
No. See, but here's the thing. If you don't have belief, then of course none of this makes sense. I believe God told me not to eat pork. Why would I do it then? You know what I mean? Like, oh, but don't you want to try things? No. I believe God, you know what I mean? Like it's cut and dry. This makes me seem like a very unfunny person. Fuck.
It's okay.
No, I'm thinking about people watching this. Like,
it's rare to talk to someone.
God, I'm a good comedian. I'm a good stand-up comedian.
You are a very good stand-up comedian.
Nobody from this could tell.
That's why we asked you on the podcast. And you're a cynical comedian, which is why
Yeah.
I find it hard to fathom, because I'm like, comedians, we poke holes in ourselves. We poke holes in society.
Yeah.
And how can you not turn this poker onto your faith?
All of this is answered in Islam. You can find an answer to all your questions. Why is there suffering? I can give you a million answers.
Okay, give me a quick answer. Why is there suffering?
Because of the Jews. No.
Just recently, I talked with a friend of mine who's in a polyamorous marriage, and they have a kid. And it's kind of like they get all of the stress of being in a divorced with kids while being married at the same time. Because you add the rules. Can the partner meet the kid?
They like drama.
They told me, they said, it's been a tough week. My wife just broke up with her boyfriend of 5 years. And I said, holy shit, that sounds like a nightmare.
These people, they push it. They need this. Will a person stay with me if I do this? Will they not? We have all these rules, but let me break something we haven't talked about.
I don't think cheating's any better.
No, but that's what straight people get. It's not. None of them are good. Monogamy to the day you die. It is not for the faint of heart. This is for lesbians. Okay, men. Poly, like orgies all the time. They got to get tested every week. Not for the faint of heart. Cheating. How do you sleep at night? They're all horrendous, but these are the options we have so far.
What's the economics of RuPaul's Drag Race in terms of how many people start on that show?
14 or 15.
Are you paid a weekly
Stipend?
rate?
My season, you were paid $200 an episode you were on.
What?
RuPaul.
So
This needs to be changed.
So like
how
you're
many
in
episodes
hiding.
were you on?
I was on 4.
So you got $800?
Yeah. But then I came back for finale and reunion, so I got paid for those as well.
$1,200.
When you get eliminated, you're not allowed to work until all of the girls go back public.
And they're not paying you for any of that?
And they're not paying you to stay.
What?
So I literally, I was so depressed, I didn't leave my bed for, days.
Because legally you couldn't. You had to stay there.
I had to stay there. Well, Drag Race sends they'll call you and be like, you haven't killed yourself yet, right? Like, you're doing okay? Do you need to talk to a therapist? Like, they
You should
check
have said
in on
yes.
you.
Give you that therapy. They're like, well, it's going to cost you too. We're not covering this.
You never call another person fat just because you don't know what their thought process is on it. People call me fat all the time now. Couldn't care less. There were times in my life where if you called me fat, I was done.
You crumbled.
Of course.
Yeah.
But do you ever think it's a fool's errand where sometimes there's a fat? It's okay to say.
Yeah.
As if we're going to make it tall. We're going to make the term fat tall.
Well, and that's what a lot of it is.
This word is steeped in a history of negativity.
That's why the terms like plus size came out, like in the modeling world.
Sure.
So there was plus size when I first started. It still is. It's kind of like reverted back to plus size. But a lot of people didn't like plus size. And when I started, women's modeling wasn't the plus size division anymore. It was the curve division. And men, we weren't big and tall. We were brawn. And it's still
brawn. Like brawny,
I gotta tell you,
like
curve and
brawn
brawn are very attractive words.
And that's the thing. They're very nice words. And in another agency, they called their
Brawn.
big and tall guys the Titans. That was their thing. So
we're getting a little carried away.
Everybody younger than me, please stop dealing with your parents so much. You cannot have your own nervous breakdown to become a great creative person if you're cathected on your parents because it's a fake friend. It's like a friend on the payroll. Because who could not love you? Who could not love you of their own child? Mm-hmm. Every person between the age of 25 and 34 must have the inner hologram of their life that was built before they were 24 collapse. Because it was a child's construction to keep a world going.
Well, my mom listens to the podcast, so if you're listening,
Mom, don't bug him.
Stop calling him.
Stop calling him. You know you need him and that you're insecure without him and you think he can't deal with anything. He's a jerk. He is a little loud, I have to say. Could you deal with him on that?
And your headphones aren't even in. Have you ever paid for porn in your entire life?
No.
Okay. Have you? Okay, there was a brief period of time. There was a company. There was a company called Naughty America.
Okay, everyone here
America?
made me feel
And-
like I'm the only person that did that in the room.
No one here watches porn.
Oh.
Naughty America. This is a brief time. I was young.
Start. I'm sorry. I start. I don't know.
Well, they don't make it. They don't do like they should do it like the Wikipedia. You know where you go to Wikipedia, it's like before you get to the article, can we please make a plea? Put that on X videos. Before you bust a nut, take out your left hand and put in your credit card. We need the money.
When he got his tonsils out, I bring him to the doctor. He's on Sharon's insurance, and we're checking out. But the receptionist, is like, and then she looks up. She said, who's the real mother? Like, in front of Ben. I said, are you asking who the biological mother is? I can answer that, but don't you ever ask that question to another same-sex parent. And I knew I had to, like, you know how you can be like, I don't feel like getting into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't, if you have a child standing there, if they see you go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We're gay. Like you have to show.
Because the easy thing would be like, she's the real mother.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
And you can't. So I said, don't ever ask that. I'm the biological, and that's his other mother, and he's on her. And don't ever say that again.
Yeah.
And then,
how did she react? Did she like go?
she was like, you have to be kind and firm.
I got a new laptop. I went to the Apple store and I wanted to see what my old computer was. Apple makes it impossible to find out what I bought at the store in the past, which is frustrating. So I go, okay, I'll get out my laptop. I pull out my laptop. It's in my backpack.
Oh my God, did you have porn?
I had porn. I wasn't in a place where I thought this laptop was coming out. I did it real fast. Boom, close it right away. I feel like the courtesy is you just pretend, we all pretend we didn't see it. But I was like, just sorry, 1 second. And he said, hey man, what are you sorry for? Human nature? How many times has this
daily,
happened to every
hourly.
Apple employee?
2 or 3 times a week.
There's
probably.
no, it's just me.
I am so conscious of it because I take my laptop everywhere and I'm like doing the shows and stuff. I'm always slowly opening it like this because you just
look
never
so
know.
Suspicious every time you get on your laptop. You're like,
It's a terrifying feeling. It could
everyone
happen.
knows why you're doing that. Everyone knows. That guy from Glee it will always be so wild to me. It's only because so he could have like one dream sequence where he gets out of the chair and like does a funky choreography.
Yeah.
I'm a kid obsessed with Glee. So I really just like enjoyed it and I thought, oh, wonderful. I am being represented. I am a disabled person who's in high school, and there's a disabled person who's in high school, even though he's not a disabled. And then he gets out of the chair, and that is when I freaked the fuck out. Maybe there are some people who often fantasize about getting up and doing a show-stopping number, but I have dreamed of being on Broadway and being at the center of a kick line for my entire life, and never once was I ever imagining that the walker would go away. I was just dreaming that there would be scores of hunky men who would throw me around the stage and make me feel attractive. Any great Broadway diva who didn't want to tap dance and just stood there at the center and smiled. That's who I wanted to be.
I had heard a rumor that they had a high school version of Rent where it was pink eye instead of AIDS.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Which I don't know how. Because that means Roger's girlfriend killed herself over pink eye, and it's like just wait a couple days.
Yeah.
No need to do this.
I love when schools change something of the show to like add their own. Like I heard a story once of they didn't change it to make it safer or anything, but it was a production of Annie, and at the end they changed it so the very last scene after they're like getting a new deal for Christmas, she's been adopted, everything's exciting. They had her wake up in the orphanage again, like it was all a dream.
Oh, I love that.
None of that. Airplanes, they're not made for fat people. I always pick in seat by the window, but sometimes there's another fat person that sits in the middle, and they kind of look like at me like I'm the problem. And I'm like, we're both doing it, baby.
It's both. It's Shamu and Godzilla, honey.
Yeah.
We're both in this.
We're both in it. And sometimes there's a fat person who doesn't think of themselves as fat. It's usually an older woman. And I'm like, there's no accountability. She's taking no accountability for contributing here. We're both doing it together.
Can you imagine if she put on The Whale and started looking at you?
I had a great older black woman one time, and we were like, what are we gonna,
It's a real fucking nightmare on here, isn't it?
But when the food cart comes, you're like, just leave it here.
You're getting too comfortable. We let the whale come and slide. Gianmarco's like, yeah, and then you get off the plane and maybe you get bariatric surgery. Stop.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.